Alright, YouTube, I got a video for you here today about this Harbor Freight Predator 2000 inverter generator. Overall, I think it's a good generator for the price. There are some issues, though, that I don't like about it. Number one, the main one, is there's no fuel filter between the tank and the carburetor. So this thing is relying solely on this screen to catch any debris that falls in the tank. Problem with that is that it doesn't take debris that large to plug up the float, and that's what's going on with mine right now. There's fuel running out of the overflow, which means the carburetor's flooding out. It's running poorly. You can see the black smoke. Actually, you can see the fuel stain on the ground right there. That's where it happened earlier. I fixed it, but there's still trash in the tank, so now it happened again. And there's some quirks about taking this thing apart to clean it, so I'm going to show you that. First of all, you got to take this outside cover off. So we're going to pause it. We're going to do that. Alright, now that we have the outside cover off, we have to get this cover off, which is even more of a pain in the butt, because we need to be able to get this carburetor out of here. Okay, and to do that, for me anyway, this piece is in the way. So there's a screw here, 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 here. You take these three screws out. You take these three screws out, which are on the other side of the handle. There's a screw underneath this rubber piece right here. You take and pop this sign loose. Just lay it down. The screw here, screw here. Okay, now that we got the outside cover off, we need to take off your PCV hose. You need to take off this overflow hose. You need to take this air box off. You need to take the front screw out because there's a little 8 mil behind here, and I think a 10 mil back here. And then you got the nut for the intake right here, and there's one on the other side. And what I do is I got my 10 mil on the 1/4 inch drive extension. You can see how we get back in here. That's why this plastic cover has to come off. There's also another reason. I'll show you in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and get mine tore down. Okay, so now we got the intake and everything off. Make sure you don't lose your little gasket. Now here's why, another reason the cover has to come off, because even though you take all that off, guess what? You can't get this carburetor off. This hits the gas tank. So by taking the cover off, lets you move it up just enough. But even then, it still won't clear. So these studs, either you have to completely disassemble this whole case to get the gas tank and this bracket completely out of the way, or you can do this. Take one nut, put it on backwards. Okay, about like that. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the back one first. That way, got plenty of room to work here. So, put this nut on backwards. Be easier for you because you won't be holding a video camera trying to video record and do this at the same time. So, okay, we got our first nut started. Get some good threads coming through. Okay. See what I'm doing here? Okay. Now, you can take a wrench. Okay. Put it right here. Snug it up. Obviously, take your other socket. Okay, come through here. Well, we want to tighten. Now, we don't want to over tighten. We just want to snug. Okay, now it's snugged up. Now we can use a wrench on this nut Well, mine's hot because it was just running. All right. You see how that's working for me? That's going to take me a minute, but now I'll be able to back this stud all the way out. And here we are. We have it off. Now, don't think that something's wrong because you can't pull the studs out of the carburetor, because look, the end is big. It's not going to come out. But by pulling the studs out, now you can take the carburetor off enough to do what you need to do. I wouldn't worry about taking the choke off or none of that stuff, because now you can take the bowl off, you can clean it, you can do what you need to do. Now, me personally, I'm fixing to run to the auto parts store and go buy a little lawnmower filter, and I'm gonna cut this and I'm gonna put a filter in here so I don't have to deal with this nonsense anymore. But I just wanted to show you guys the problem. Overall, I think the generator is great, but they should have put some kind of filter in here because this is nonsense. Number two, they didn't make this carburetor very easy to get out because all this bracketry and all this nonsense. I guess they figure you're going to disassemble the whole entire thing to get the carburetor off. Well, by doing what I did, by putting the bolts on like this, you don't have to worry about it. You can get it off this way. So hope it helps. And if you bought one of these new, I think you should just go ahead right out of the gate, take a part like this and put a filter in there before you even have to worry about the carburetor stopping up, because like right now I'm in the middle of work. I really need this thing and I don't have it. Thank goodness I got a backup plan. I got my inverter in there, but still that's only good for so long before my auxiliary batteries go bad, or not bad, but deplete and charge. So but that's it. Just wanted to show you guys a little shortcut I learned to keep from having to take this whole mess apart. You can just take some of it apart, and how to get that carburetor off another way.